It's difficult to overstate the strangeness of the British media's priorities. As wildfires rage across northwestern Turkey, claiming lives, destroying ecosystems, forcing the evacuation of thousands, the press has instead fastened onto the ordeal of a British comedian who forgot to pay for a dress in Zara. And one cannot help but ask, why is this the story that captures the headlines while heroic Turkish firefighters die anonymously in overturned tankers? The case of Cerys Nelmes, a former firefighter herself turned comedian from the Cotswolds, has undeniably human interest. Nelmes, holidaying in Istanbul, left a Zara store without paying for several items, and she returned shortly after to hand them back and offered to pay. Yet what followed was a harsh lesson in legal systems that don't take kindly to acts, even accidental ones, of petty theft. Arrested, detained incommunicado, deprived of food, water, and lavatory access, and eventually brought before a judge, Nelmes now finds herself stranded in Turkey, facing a potential 3-year prison sentence. Her distress is palpable. Her appeal for help, notably via social media, has struck a chord, but the story raises uncomfortable questions. Why is this event, undoubtedly tragic on a personal level, considered more newsworthy than the 4 firefighters who died in Bursa this week, or the unprecedented heatwave that's pushed Turkey to the brink of ecological disaster? Since late June, wildfires have swept through about 40 provinces in Turkey. The city of Bursa, a hub of culture, history and industry, is under siege by flames. Entire villages have been evacuated, highways shut, emergency services pushed to breaking point. Temperatures have soared beyond 50 degrees centigrade, and more than 17 people have died, including 10 rescue volunteers, forestry workers, in a single day. The government has declared Izmir and other cities disaster zones, and still the red tops run stories about a yellow dress. There is, of course, a deeper subtext. When a Britain runs afoul of a foreign justice system, it triggers a particular narrative reflex in the British press. The fear of the other, the assumption of legal backwardness, and the unexamined belief in British exceptionalism. But Turkish law, while often harsh, is not uniquely so. Shoplifting, even by accident, is treated seriously in many jurisdictions. In some parts of the US, a similar incident could lead to years of probation or incarceration. In Singapore or Japan, the police might not have been so forgiving either. This is not a defence of the judicial severity Cerys Nelmes now faces, nor is it a denial of the real human cost to her livelihood, her home, perhaps even her mental health. But we must hold both truths simultaneously, that her story matters and that the Turkish people currently contending with an ecological catastrophe deserve attention too. In some ways, the media's fixation with Nelmes reflects something grimly ironic. Here is a woman who served as a firefighter herself in the UK, now languishing under arrest while Turkish firefighters die doing the very job she once did. In heat so ferocious it warps roads and sets trees ablaze like tinder. Her profession and her plight should serve to connect us with Turkish suffering, not distract us from it. Finally, this episode also underscores the risks of travelling without understanding the laws and the customs of the host country. One person's mistake can become a diplomatic incident, a media circus, or a cautionary tale, but it need not become a morality play. I hope that justice for Cerys Nelmes is tempered by compassion, but let's also redirect our attention to the inferno engulfing the Anatolian forest and to the real heroes risking everything, not for a dress but for a country on fire.